This is the story of how Kyle Larson finished 6th in the NASCAR Cup Series Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway on Saturday, climbed aboard his private jet less than 30 minutes after the checkered flag, crossed the country from Virginia to Iowa, walked through the Knoxville Raceway gate at 1:15 a.m. Central, and then led every single one of the 50 laps in the 65th Knoxville Nationals to collect $200,000 in the early hours of Sunday morning. None of it should have worked. Going into the weekend, the plan called for crew member Trevor Canales to start and park Larson's Silva Motorsports number 57 sprint car and collect the $15,000 the team earned for locking the machine into the field. Larson himself had already accepted that he would miss the biggest sprint car race in the world, and that acceptance held right up until Iowa saw 4 hours and 6 minutes of rain that rewrote the entire night. Richmond and Knoxville landed on the same Saturday, the moment NASCAR published the 2026 calendar. Championship Saturday at the Knoxville Nationals is the crown jewel of sprint car racing, an event that has crowned winners since 1961, and fans call it the Super Bowl or the granddaddy of 'em all, depending on who you ask. Bob Pockras of Fox Sports asked Larson about the conflict back in 2025, and the response defined his entire approach. Verbatim from Larson, quote, "It's fine. It shouldn't revolve around me anyways." The plan that emerged from that resignation ran clean and businesslike. Larson would race the Knoxville prelims to lock the Paul Silva-owned number 57 into the A main, which alone brought the team $15,000 because at Knoxville, the car qualifies in, not the driver. Championship Saturday belonged to Trevor Canales, who would start the machine and pull it into the pits, the exact same move Canales pulled for Rico Abreu back in 2015 when Abreu had an ARCA conflict. Fans criticized Larson for entering the prelim nights if he was not going to race the finale. Larson addressed the debate on Flow Racing's pre-race show using his own shorthand for the critics, calling them DARFs, which stands for Dumbass Race Fans. He added that the criticism had not reached him, quote, "from any of my competitors." The prelim work paid every bill it could. Thursday's Toyota qualifying night handed Larson $12,000 and pole position for the finale as the week's high point driver, and he added wins in the Capitani Classic for $13,000 and the Front Row Challenge at Southern Iowa Speedway for another $21,000. Rain fell on Knoxville before the championship program could even get started, and it kept falling for what felt like forever. Per Flow Racing's official recap, the delay stretched 4 hours and 6 minutes between the scheduled 6:30 p.m. Central start of D main hot laps and the moment cars finally returned to the track at 10:36 p.m. Not since August 6, 2014 had Nationals Week seen a rainout, which meant this weather event ended a streak of 45 consecutive completed programs, according to high-limit racing publicist Brian Walker. Larson, meanwhile, had started 30th in the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet at Richmond, dropped a lap early, and clawed his way back into contention. During a midway caution, crew chief Cliff Daniels grabbed the radio with news that flipped the night, telling Larson, quote, "Knoxville has not even started hot laps yet. Big delay for the race. Don't know if it's tomorrow yet, but they're way behind, just so you know." He followed with, quote, "We're working on plans for ya." Daniels later revealed that Hendrick Motorsports president Jeff Andrews proved, quote, "very instrumental in the plan." Larson himself kept refusing. Per Daniels, the team stayed, quote, "persistent because, quote, if we get him there, he can probably do something special." 6th at Richmond marked Larson's best result since Sonoma, and Joey Logano collected the Cookout 400 trophy. The Richmond checkered flag triggered the entire operation. Larson's private jet, a Dassault Falcon 2000 EX carrying tail number N501KL, lifted off at 10:57 p.m. Eastern, less than 30 minutes after the race ended. Wheels down came 118 minutes later in Pella, Iowa. While N501KL cut across the sky, it climbed to the number 1 tracked flight in the world on Flight Radar 24, with Flow Racing reporting peak tracking above 17,000 users. Landing came just before midnight Central Time, and a 20-minute police escort ferried Larson from Pella Municipal Airport to the racetrack. He walked through the Knoxville gate at 1:15 a.m. Central, arriving before the B main and missing only hot laps. In victory lane, Larson joked about the whole tracking phenomenon, saying, quote, "It's kinda cool that's a stat. I figured somebody would be tracking Donald Trump, Taylor Swift or something." Per Capital Sports report, Larson spent just an hour and a half inside Knoxville, Iowa, before he strapped into the race car. Close to 1 a.m. local time, the A-main went green. Larson rolled off pole thanks to the high-point work he had banked on Thursday night, and from the drop of the green flag, the lead never left his hands. 50 laps, wire to wire, in a race that took 31 minutes and 49 seconds. Per Flow Racing, his largest margin measured 4.799 seconds over Casey Kahn on lap 24. Sheldon Haudenchild crossed second, Connie third, James McFadden fourth, and Logan Schuchart fifth. The $200,000 winner's check pushed Larson's Knoxville Nationals week earnings to $258,000, which also included a $2,000 pole award and the $10,000 Jesse Hockett Mr. Sprint Car award. Per Flow Racing, Larson is believed to be the only driver to win 4 features during Nationals week. This victory delivered his 4th career Knoxville Nationals title, arriving in 2021, 2023, 2024, and now 2026, which ties him with Kenny Weld and Danny Lasowski for 4th most all-time. His 3 flag-to-flag wins in 2023, 2024, and 2026 tie Doug Wolfgang for 2nd most in event history, with Steve Kinser out front on 6 titles. Larson's 178 career A-main laps moved him past Doug Wolfgang for 3rd on the all-time list, trailing only Donnie Schatz at 339 and Steve Kinser at 301. It marked his 16th overall Knoxville win across all events. Larson pulled into victory lane and immediately turned to the fans who had criticized him for running the preliminaries. His exact words landed with no ambiguity, quote, "I hope all the fans that were buying and moaning about running the prelim night now understand why. Anybody watching at home, on the internet, in the stands, I hope you realize this was best case scenario." He also thanked Hendrick Motorsports directly, stating he would not own any Knoxville Nationals championships without them, and he announced on the broadcast that this would be his final sprint car appearance of the season. Sheldon Haudenchild, the runner-up, backed him up during the post-race, saying, quote, "I'm glad Kyle got to make it back honestly. If I want to win this race, I want to beat Kyle and the best there is." World of Outlaws framed the night in the largest possible terms, calling it, quote, "one of the most memorable days not just in the history of sprint car racing, but all of motorsports." NASCAR drew the contrast that defined the whole story. Larson had attempted to complete the double at Indianapolis and Charlotte in both 2024 and 2025, and rain-wrecked both attempts. The 2024 attempt ended with him never even running the rained-out Coca-Cola 600, and 2025 delivered crashes at both races. This time, per NASCAR, Mother Nature played her cards right. The Knoxville win arrived during the toughest stretch of Larson's Cup career. Per NASCAR, his Cup winless streak traced back to Kansas on May 11, 2025, which meant Richmond represented start number 47 without a checkered flag. He entered the weekend around 10th in Cup points after a slump had dropped him 5 spots. 6th at Richmond marked his best Cup finish in weeks. The win at Knoxville earned his 4th crown in the biggest sprint car race in the world, all in the same night. So here is where the Kyle Larson double lands in the record books. 6th at Richmond, then 118 minutes across the country on a jet the entire world tracked, walking into Knoxville Raceway at 1:15 in the morning, leading all 50 laps of the 65th Knoxville Nationals and cashing a $200,000 check, his 4th Knoxville crown, his 178th career A-main lap led. None of this happens without 4 hours and 6 minutes of Iowa rain. Larson made sure the fans who doubted him heard about it directly in victory lane. If this breakdown connected with you, subscribe to this channel and drop a comment telling me whether you think this ranks as the greatest same-night double in motorsports history.